Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. We're going to take a look at Jerod Evans, the junior quarterback from Virginia Tech. And the first thing that we're going to look at is his deep ball prowess. And there are a lot of little components that I appreciate from Evans on this play. One of them is anticipation. Another is his footwork to get a quick set and throw. And another is the power that he has with his arm to deliver this ball to the opposite flat and the placement of the throw. Now, this isn't a successful play for Evans on the stat sheet, but the process shows a lot of promise for this quarterback in this range of the field. So we're going to start here with a play action fake. And I like that you can see that the hips are bent, the knees are bent. He's got a good crouch here with extension of the ball into the chest. This mimics very closely a five-step drop from center where he would extend the ball at this point to the back if he were under center as opposed to playing in a pistol look. Look at the one stop and set with a hitch. It's all very quick, and he knows where he's going. He knows he has single coverage on Hodges, the outside twin right receiver tight end hybrid here, against this corner playing off. And Evans has confidence that Hodges is a mismatch because of his height and his speed, and that there's no safety over top. So he's going to get rid of this ball with enough time for Hodges to win it with his speed and his size. All he has to do is place it in the right spot. And he has faith in that. He believes in his arm, he believes in his placement, and he believes in his receiver. And you need that in the deep passing game. So you're going to see that off that one step. You can see that right away. Once he finishes that one step, he's hitching and throwing. And he gets his hips around on this throw. He's about a yard inside the 50s, inside the left hash of the 50. And look at this ball. Goes right through the hands of Hodges at the 45, at the 5 here. It's a 45-yard throw from the left hash to the outside opposite flat. That's a throw that requires velocity, good timing, good distance, and it's there. And the thing that I want to show you is look where he begins his throw. He knows he's going to throw this right now. Hodges is not even 10 yards downfield. As the ball's out, Hodges is about 15 to 16 yards downfield. That means there's another 30 yards to cover on this throw. And he's got to make sure that he places it well. And where he places it is great because Hodges is looking for it over his inside shoulder. But the ball arrives further outside, so it gives him a chance to work to the boundary. This is exactly where you would want to throw it, if you ask me. If you want to give your receiver a chance, only the receiver a chance to catch the ball. Give him room to veer to the sideline late in the route. And that's exactly what he does. The ball just goes through his hands. And I will give you a little side point about Hodges in this game. This is the third pass he's dropped where he's had to extend his arms to the ball using an underhand technique. He dropped a slant. He dropped a little settle route in the zone at the beginning of the game where the ball was a little behind him and where he was led perfectly on a slant, and then this play. And we're going to look at it from this angle, and you can see, Hodges does everything well, veering to the outside. He extends once he gets into position here, and the ball just goes through his hands. This should have been caught. This should have been a completion of 45 yards from the pitch point to the catch point, and they would have had a first and goal. I also like Evans' ability to set quickly and throw. We saw that earlier with the deep pass, but we're going to see it one more time off this one step, rock and throw. And he leads the receiver perfectly downfield on the slant. I see a lot of players in these types of systems throw the ball and they end up throwing it behind the receiver or leading it a little bit in a way where he's not on the same page with the receiver running the slant. I saw a play with Davis Webb versus with Chad Hansen at Cal recently, where the receiver flattened his slant on the break, and the quarterback threw the ball further downfield. This one, Evans and his slot receiver are in perfect tune. He leads that ball to the downfield shoulder, and it gets him a nice gain, another 8 after the catch. And this is a consistent thing. You see on the next play, does the exact same thing that we see here. He's going to use a read option fake here. Gets the ball with a nice little punch to the chest of the defender, of the running back. Watch that extension and punch back out. A nice pivot and turn. Feet are in a decent base. And Hodges out on the right running the slant. He leads Hodges downfield. He extends for the ball, makes the initial catch, but it's punched out. This is a good play by the defender, although you'd like to see Hodges make this catch. Again, another underhanded approach where he drops it. But a lot of that is this little rip at the end that knocks the ball loose. But it's an accurate throw downfield, leading the receiver only where you want him to go. Now, we've seen some of Evans' throws that are in the short range where he throws the ball with good zip, but I also like some of his touch in the short range. Watch this ghost jet sweep here to the working from the right to the left, and then he's going to make a little half roll and throw with a jump pass just over the edge defender and just get it right out there for the receiver to run into the flat. Touchdown. While I liked Evans' deep anticipation on a play that we saw earlier in this game, I'd like to see his anticipation improve on some of the shorter routes, especially on design throws to the outside where he's running, say, a sprint play like this one here on 2nd and 2, and he's going to be targeting one of the two receivers in this tight stack formation here where he's got a safety over top, he's got a corner playing inside shade. He knows that Hodges is going to run the short out route. He should know this by now. Looking at pre-snap coverage with inside shade here, inside shade over top, he should be looking to this route first unless he sees something crazy happen with the safety sprinting downhill or this cornerback sliding to the outside. And at the snap, early on we see none of that happen. The cornerback slides outside, but he's covering the slot man. That means that the safety's left here on Hodges, and the safety even takes the downfield route. So at this point, within the next 2 steps, he should be throwing this ball right now to Hodges. The ball should already be out, but he waits about 3 steps, maybe about 1 to 2 steps too long to begin his delivery. And as a result of that, instead of the ball being in Hodges' hands right here, where he can catch the ball and turn up this sideline with a blocker and have enough room to accelerate past this safety, Hodges has to wait on the ball, make a move to stop so he doesn't get out of bounds, and then he's in a bad position to take on the safety who has the leverage and the downhill momentum to stop him and drive him backwards and nearly push him back to the first down marker, limiting this game. So reading the field is not just about finding the open man. In this case, it's about knowing when to throw the ball. He knows who the open man is. He should see that right here. When this front foot comes down, the ball should be out, but he takes another 2 steps, maybe 3, to throw this ball. And he limits his receiver with this decision. Here's another display of touch. You can see it throws immediately to Isaiah Ford on this play. Very decisive. Deep routes, fade routes. Look at that. Just quick set up. Gets rid of the ball. Really nice floating ball here. I mean, look at how that's just floating through the air. It doesn't even have the downward angle yet, and then just drops straight down like on a string. This is very nice touch. And only where the receiver can work outside to get it. Throw the ball early enough, and you give the receiver options. Evans is definitely a confident thrower of the football. Watch this deep catch. 2 steps, really a step, pivot, and a hop. And then he just lets that ball go 37 yards to the end, to the goal line, and then maybe another, 7 to 8 yards deep in the end zone. Beautiful catch by Isaiah Ford. Ford splits the safety and the cornerback. Makes a beautiful high point catch. Stays in bounds. Crowd goes nuts, of course, man. This is one of the better catches you're going to see in college football this season. Evans is happy for his man. Now let's watch the replay. We're going to see this from Ford's point of view first. Look at that nice extension. Doesn't waste any time. Catches with his fingertips and brings it in. Gets that knee in bounds. I wonder when I watch this play whether or not Ford could continue running about right here if he continued running downfield. But with the defender also looking back to the ball, I think Ford's intuitive decision to make the leap is probably the right call, even if the ball would have been accurate if he continued running down here. If it could have gotten over that trailing defender, it was a very good throw. It was an even better decision by Ford to leap for the ball. Over and over again in this game, we're seeing Jerod Evans make aggressive decisions without hesitation and getting the ball where it needs to be. And that's spelling big plays for the quarterback and his offense. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. One step, one knee, just before he gets his forearm out of bounds. Here's a deep route that isn't thrown accurately, and you can see there's a little bit of a hitch in his delivery here. Look how he just kind of rises on his toes and throws, but he doesn't get a full release through his hips. Like, his hips are glued there. They don't rotate through the throw. See how they don't rotate through the throw fully? This ball ends up short. And the number 14, who's had a good day today, the cornerback for BC, tips the ball away, but he was in perfect position. And the only way that this was going to be caught is if the rotation off this back foot comes forward before the release so that he can get some power on this throw and extend the throw maybe 2 to 3 yards more so Ford doesn't have to turn around and try and make a play on the ball rather than just run downfield and catch it thrown over his head and just run under the ball. That's a mechanical issue that can be fixed. And part of that may have been that he perceived some of this pressure up the middle and he didn't step in through all the way through the throw. And he short-armed it in a way because he didn't get that full rotation with his hips. First throw of the day where it wasn't accurate like this. And you even have a flag thrown on the play. I thought it was a good play. Turns out it wasn't, at least in the official's eyes. No, I think that was, he had his hand on the receiver, and the receiver was able to leap and kind of make a show of it, but I thought it was pretty good defense. Here's another play of Evans where the ball isn't reaching the receiver accurately, and it has to do with pressure. So it's going to be something I want to watch for additional viewings with other games, is when pressure gets in his face, like you're going to see off the left edge here, is he going to back away and throw from an odd base? And when he does, can he throw it accurately? This is low and at the shins. It's a catchable ball in the pros. Some of them will catch that. But you'd like to see him step through this ball rather than fade away from the pressure or slide and wait. Maybe he'd be able to slide outside, take another step, let this receiver get downfield in this wide open area and throw the ball there. Because look where no one was there if he had that chance to work it outside a little bit more. But instead, throws off his back foot, fading away, inaccurate ball. And yet, here's another deep ball, and from center, no less. We're going to watch him demonstrate a five-step drop with a nice play-action fake, a look off to the left, finish his turn. It's not a great turn, but he gets his feet back into position, and then he throws the ball. He does get that hip around, even though he's anticipating a little bit of that hit off the edge from the defender coming. But he's willing to throw and take that hit. And this ball travels 52 yards in the air, leads the receiver forward inside, deep post, inside the 9 right there. Excellent throw. And good demonstration of what he can do as a player from under center with a little bit more work and a little more experience doing so. But he gets that hip around this time. And that's what I was waiting to see. Is he willing to take a hit and not truncate his release? And on this play, he doesn't truncate that release as much as you would think. He anticipates the hit. He's willing to take it. And he gets that ball downfield. It's a beautiful play. I also like some of the things that I see from the pocket with Evans, but I also would like to see him be a little more decisive with what he sees on the field at times on intermediate routes. This is a 3rd and 10 from a 3-by-1 formation, and he's going to look to this trip side first. And pre-snap, you're going to see these 2 inside trips receivers on either side of the hash. They're going to be capped by this safety who's over top, as well as the coverage that's underneath that's on them by the linebacker and this nickel defender. Then you have this outside trips receiver running basically an inside break at about 8 yards, one-on-one with this off coverage corner. As this unfolds, you'll see what he's reading. He's into his second step of his drop, and he's reading these 2 receivers, and you can see that they're covered over top with good position, and the safety's over top as well. This is what you would call a capped situation, where the receivers are capped, the routes are capped or covered. He needs to come off that pretty quickly, because he should see about right now that he doesn't need to throw it here. So what about his outside man? He finishes that 3rd step, and he decides to look up the left hash to see what he can find up in this region. There's nothing there. Now he looks that off a little bit. He's looking there for one reason, I think. There's no receiver downfield here. There's only one receiver, and that's Ford, and he's at the line of scrimmage. Let's look at this one more time from the beginning of the play. See, this is the only receiver here. So why would Evans be looking up this left hash after his 3rd step? Well, probably to move this safety, because he knows that if Ford isn't downfield yet, he may be glancing in to see how far Ford got downfield, but Ford couldn't get the separation that she needed off the line. He got jammed. As a result of that, that look should help move the safety a little bit further to the inside, which it did. And what he wants to do now is come back to the right, where it says Virginia Tech QB, you have Hodges breaking inside at 8 yards. And he wants to come back and throw. You saw him turn and raise the ball a little bit, but he felt this pressure off the left side, the pocket compressing, and decides that he needs to run. I would have liked to have seen him try to throw this ball. with that up, he should have taken the chance. That was his best shot there. He doesn't throw it, tries to escape pressure, and ends up with either a short loss of a sack or no gain on the play, depending on how they score it. But you can see the thought process there is good. You can see that his feet and his eyes are in sync. Second drop, he's looking here. He comes off the third step, looks back to his left. The receiver's jammed, not much he can do there. He goes back to his fourth read, really. Raises it up to throw, and he just decides that he doesn't feel the opportunity to deliver that ball. And I'm not sure. The thing is I'm not sure if he was really looking at that fourth read. If he is, it's a good thing. If he's not, then I would say I wish that he had more awareness of this in break, because it's very possible that he was looking back up the right hash before he goes down and wanted to throw it deeper. And there's a good reason to think that that might have been the case. This is a type of play I would like to ask a guy like Evans, what was he looking at here? Was he looking at these two receivers? Was he even considering this backside break inside? He should be. Now, looking at a play like this, you have to understand that if you're only seeing him make reads like this for the first time, you don't want to make conclusions that he doesn't read the field well. You don't want to make conclusions that he does read the field well. What you want to make conclusions about is what you see right here, which is he can drop back, he can come off of his first reads, maybe his first and second read, to look to a third read, bring the ball up and go back to the opposite side of the field, and then bring the ball down when he senses pressure and run. That's what you see from this play. That's really the concrete evidence you're going to see from a play like this, is that he's capable of making reads on one side of the field and then go to the opposite side of the field and even return to the original side of the field. I think that's a positive. That tells you that he's that he's not locked onto a region of the field, and that he's doing it with decent footwork to hitch and stay in position to throw. And he's got the ball up and looks like he's ready to throw, but he doesn't see the opening to where he needs to throw, because I'm going to tell you, based on what I think, he's probably not looking at this dig route that I was talking about that's breaking inside at 8 yards, or this little stick, however you're going to term this route breaking inside. He probably doesn't see that, because if he did, he would have thrown it here. He's looking over back to this hash, sees it's not open, decides to bring it down because he knows that the pressure's coming. A lot of positives there. The only potential negative is that maybe he didn't see this outside route, and that would have been his fourth read, where he looked all over the field within a short period of time. Still a lot of positives to examine here, and a lot left for us to really look at with other plays before we could make a full conclusion about his reading the field. I also like what Evans has to offer when he can carry the ball. And this is a design play where you're going to see a ghost jet sweep by the single left receiver working across the formation. Then you're going to see the guard pull across to the left side, so you get a little bit of a counter look from the quarterback running this play. So we're going to get this thing rolling in a second here, and you're going to get a chance to see Evans in action here as a runner. And he has some skills as a runner here. Watch, first the play action. Watch him work downhill to the outside shoulder and then dip inside. He's got enough burst to dip downfield, and then watch this cut coming up on this linebacker coming from inside to pursue. Nice little jump cut there. Now he takes a direct hit from a linebacker head on, collides with a backside defender, and pushes his way for a couple more yards, and it's a tough hit, and he's going to get smacked in the NFL doing this on a regular basis, but they're not going to ask him to do this on a regular basis, I don't think. And, it's the type of thing, though, that when you look at his size, He's a hardy enough player that if they need him to do some design runs, he's going to be able to gain yardage. He's going to be very good under center, being able to gain yardage, being able to push on quarterback sneaks, but also be able to do some work in the open field and dish out some punishment as well as take it. Here's another nice example of Evans as a runner with cutback ability. This is an option to the left, and watch him read these two edge defenders contain, and watch him cut back and then just patiently wait for his backside blockers to get in front of him so he can slide to this backside tackle's hole and work downfield through a wrap, spin forward, and get the first down. This is a patient run for a quarterback, and he has a good feel for those backside blocks to cut back and get downhill at the right time, and then use his size and lean to get the first down. Hope you liked my look at Jerod Evans. Got a little extra nuggets to show you here, such as this run through East Carolina's defense. Look at some of that cutback ability to weave through the field. Watch this cut coming up here. It's kind of an awkward looking move, but this is from a guy who tore his ACL as a freshman at Air Force. And that's why when people look at him, they get a little weary. They go, oh, he's a 1-year starter. Well, he played at Air Force. He played 2 years at community college, then started 1 year at Virginia Tech, and it was quite a year for him. And we saw a lot of that on tape earlier. That aggressive mentality, the touch, the anticipation, the skill to hang in the pocket, this aggressive mentality that you want to see from a pro player, the accuracy. It's all here. This is a guy that I think has a lot of upside for the NFL. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's a team that takes a risk on him and is rewarded handsomely for what he can offer an NFL team. I don't think a lot of people know about him, but they are going to find out pretty soon. I like this guy a lot. So stay tuned. We'll have more on quarterbacks and several other of the prospects at the skill positions at the RSP Film Room. You can check out more of my RSP Film Room videos at my YouTube channel, the RSP Film Room. You can also check out my blog at www.mattwaldmanrsp.com. You can find me at Twitter at Matt Waldman. And you can find Jerod Evans tape on YouTube. It's good stuff to watch. Yeah, I'm excited, buddy. I'm excited as you are. Pretty good.